Hi. I'd like to tell you about a book I just wrote called King Arthur in Search of His Dog and Other Curious Puzzles. It was published by Dover. In addition to many logic puzzles, it has a very cute storyline, which I'm sure you would enjoy. Wondrous as all this is the tale of King Arthur in search of the Holy Grail. Equally remarkable is the lesser-known tale of King Arthur in search of his dog. This tale highlights and brings out fully an explanation as to the real secret of Merlin's success as a magician, which was his mastery of logic. By means of logic, he could solve problems beyond the ken of most of the people of his day. Well, the story began one day when King Arthur's favorite dog was missing. All of Camelot was in an uproar. Now, Camelot is where King Arthur had his castle. How could he ever have escaped the palace grounds? Asked Arthur. Well, said Merlin, perhaps one of the gods carelessly let him by. Well, can't you use your magic and bring him back? Alas, no, said Merlin. Unfortunately, my magic works only on wolves, not on dogs. Then the case is hopeless, said Arthur. I wouldn't say hopeless, said Merlin. After all, there is Clug, the dog wizard. Clug, said Arthur. Who is he? I never heard of him. What does he do? Well, Clug has the magic power to turn any dog into a wolf. If we meet Clug, all you have to do is this. You pronounce the name of your dog. Clug will utter his magic incantations, and wherever in the land your dog will be, he will be instantly transformed into a wolf. But what good would that do me? Asked Arthur. Ah, said Merlin, you forget. I have complete magic power over wolves. Once he's a wolf, then I can bring him back here to Camelot to the castle. But that's no good, said Arthur. I don't want him as a wolf. I want him as a dog. Oh, that's no problem, said Merlin. Once I have him here, remember, I have complete magic power over wolves. I can easily transform him back into his former shape as a dog. Wonderful, wonderful, said Arthur, clapping his hands with joy. That solves our problem completely. All that remains is to find Clug. I'm afraid, said Merlin, rather gravely, that all is more than a little. Clug is very difficult to find. Where is he? Asked Arthur. Well, Clug has become a hermit. You see, he's been interested these days in a branch of logic known as dog logic or canine logic, which he's doing strenuous research in. He doesn't want to be disturbed, so he's hidden himself in a cave where nobody can find him. No one knows where he is? Asked Arthur. Well, yes. There was one person in the land, a wizard named Gunther. He knows where Clug is. If we can find Gunther, then we can find Clug. But we cannot find Clug unless we first find Gunther. Ah, said Arthur, so all that remains is to find Gunther. I'm afraid that Gunther also is extremely difficult to find, very difficult to find, said Merlin. Oh, said Arthur mournfully, so the case is hopeless. No, said Merlin, I did not say that Gunther is impossible to find. I said he's difficult to find. I wish you'd listen more carefully to what I have to say. I am listening, said Arthur. Just tell me what to do. Well, you see, Gunther actually goes now under an assumed name. At first he started living in a cave, but then he decided he had better not. So he changed his name again. He changed his name, and he went to is now living in a very small hamlet known as Caxton. In Caxton there are 4 other wizards, Gunther is one wizard. There are 4 others. There are 5 wizards all told, and one of them is Gunther, but he has an assumed name. Now, the difficulty is this, is one serious problem. In the town, in the hamlet of Caxton, as well as in surrounding regions, many of the surrounding regions, each inhabitant is either honest and always tells the truth, or is dishonest and always lies. Whatever an honest person, inhabitant says is true, whatever a dishonest person says is false. This makes it very difficult for us to evaluate the truth of anything I have to say. What about the wizards, asked Arthur. Are they honest or dishonest? Well, some of them are honest and some are dishonest. Not further complicates matters. So what should we do, asked Arthur. Make the following suggestion, said Merlin. I suggest we go immediately to Caxton. When we get to Caxton, we'll go through town, interviewing the various inhabitants, and by means of my logic, I'll try to find out which of the 5 of them are wizards. Once we have found the 5 wizards, we summon them to come to Camelot. Once we have them in Camelot, I devise further strategies to find out which of the 5 is really Gunther. Once we have found Gunther, we get him to tell us how to find Klug. And once we have found Klug, then, as I explained, we get Klug to turn your dog into a wolf. I bring the wolf to the castle here and turn him back into a dog. Well, this sounded to Arthur like an excellent plan. So after a few hasty preparations, they started out to Caxton. Little do they know what strange adventures awaited them.